This startup gambled almost its entire marketing budget on Holly Holmes beating the world number one Ronda Rousey in last week's UFC title fight. Let's see how that worked for them.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
And welcome back, listeners, to a very punchy episode of Australia's number one marketing show. I'm your host, Timbo Reid, very, very fired up. You're more fired up. Why? Because you're a motivated business owner. Yeah. Ready to crank out some great marketing. Yeah, that's what we do around here. Welcome. If this is your first time, don't be scared. If it's your 100th, your 200th time, welcome back. I love your work. Thank you for your support. Oh, gee, I have just got off Skype following this interview. It's a big show, is what I'm trying to say. We're joined by Kortney Olsen. Now, she's the founder of an in-your-face brand called Grrrl, Grrrl. Now, she likes to be called Korts and isn't afraid of making some very big marketing moves, despite the brand only launching last week. More on that shortly. Also got a motivational marketing quote about not quitting, which is very appropriate for this interview, and feedback from a very, very pumped up listener. Oh, yeah, big show. I'm jumping up and down, swinging shadow punches. Hey, the episode brought to you by the very good folk at Key Person of Influence, the world's leading business accelerator program for those wanting to become industry thought leaders. And you can grab a free hard copy, which they will post to you via snail mail, of their Amazon bestseller over at keypersonofinfluence.com/Timbo. And very appropriately, this show's also brought to you today by the good folk at Audible, who give you audiobooks, all sorts of them. They've got 180,000 of them. And today's guest mentions a couple of rippers that you just got to listen to. You can grab one for free over at audibletrial.com/SBBM. Listen out for the two that Kortney mentions shortly. Hey, plenty of marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in.
Get on Timbo's mailing list over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.
I am pumped. I'll take a breath. Just hang on. Do it with me. Let's just bring it back a level, right? It isn't exciting. It's exciting because Kortney is really motivated, excited about her business. You'll see what I mean. Let me explain what Grrrl is. This is from their website. It's the easiest way for me to explain it. Grrrl, Grrrl, is a brand new type of clothing company. We make real clothes for real girls who simply don't care about what anyone else thinks. We celebrate everything female, so do I, for every woman, recognising that all girls come in all different shapes and sizes. At our heart, we exist to bring all girls together to claim not just equality, but our rightful sisterhood. That's from their website. That gives you a sense of the brand. Go and have a look at the pictures on their website. They are girls. They are of girls in their gear that mean business. Now, Kortney Olsen, who is the founder of Grrrl, well, she's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu state champion and Australia's first female arm wrestling champion. Not to be messed with, let me tell you. When we started the Skype call earlier, she had her video turned on. And trust me, she is cut. Yes, quite an imposing figure is Korts. So listen in as we talk about how this startup went about securing a sponsorship of Holly Holmes, who is the number 9 ranked UFC female fighter in the world. And she went up against Ronda Rousey, who's the number 1 female ranked fighter in the UFC. Now, UFC, for those who don't know what it is, and I don't really know, it's cage fighting. And it's brutal, and I'm no fan, okay? But I am a massive fan of Kortney's approach to marketing because she decided to tip 95% of her startup marketing budget into sponsoring Holly Holm, the underdog, right? You with me? Now, by the way, I dropped the F-bomb during this interview. So if you've got kids in earshot, now's the time to get out the Lego. You with me? Righto. I started off by asking Courts, what's the biggest animal she could knock out with one punch?
Oh, I don't punch animals. I'm a massive animal lover.
Me too. But come on, humour me. I've got my little Labradoodle sitting next to me. So, hey, like I am an animal lover.
A lamb.
Oh.
A man.
Yes, I hear you.
A Labradoodle? Really?
Yeah,
I'd imagine you have a pit bull or something.
No, I'm not. See, don't get me started there. My little Labradoodle, his name is Mr. Charlie Bucket. He's named after the guy in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Absolutely.
And as he sees a pit bull, he runs to the other end of the world.
Oh. I have two small dogs myself. So
Pit bulls?
No, they're like fox terrier cross something or another. They think they're pit bulls, but
that's not on brand, mate. I would have thought you'd have like 10 pit bulls.
Hey, speaking of on brand, Timbo, we are diverse. We cater to everybody, and that's the message. So pit bulls right down to little chihuahuas.
So, Courts, where'd the idea come from for sponsoring Holly Holm?
Well, that's a great question. I would say it was more of a intuitive idea, really. So I'm not sure if you're aware of who my partner is. I don't know how much research you've actually done.
I am aware. Please tell us, because I'm aware that he is someone who'd also made an inspired decision around sponsoring a tennis player who got deep into the finals of the Australian Open. So tell us who he is and what he does.
The man, the myth, the legend, David May. So he's just an incredible, insightful, amazing man. You know, my hat's off to him because he's gone from branding Jetstar right up to, are you familiar with the Gold Coast Titans? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he came up here and basically saved that ship from going under and set up some amazing sponsorship deals.
That's for overseas listeners, basketball team?
Oh, well, that's right. We are
global.
Yeah, yes. This is a rugby league team.
Rugby league.
Yes, like the NFL of the United States, but a lot more hardcore. No helmets. At any rate, he set up some amazing sponsorship deals, and that's kind of his thing. Like he's just the most intelligent, amazing partner.
Have you hooked up with him for his marketing genius course?
Well, I have a thing for bald redheads who are English.
Bald redheads, I love it.
Yeah, you kind of look like you're a little bit of a ranga, Timbo. I can't tell.
No, there might be just a little smidgen. I think I might have when that photo was taken, I was sort of just finishing a Hollywood.
Or maybe your Labradoodle is a...
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so you've got this amazing partner.
Yeah, it's amazing a partner, and he kind of mentioned it in passing, and it just worked out that somebody mentioned that she just picked up a fight out here, and David made contact, and we went back and forth for quite a bit because it was it's a majority of our market. Well, okay, let's just keep it real. It was pretty much all of our marketing budget, and I'd tell you what that is, but then I'd have to kill you. So
you kill me. Just tell me. There's no one listening.
Well, we went back and forth, and we got to the point where it was November 9th. It was my birthday, and I remember specifically because I was laying there on a table because my husband got me a massage for my birthday, which was so sweet. And often I find that they're more like body rubs, because I'm so dense that, it's really just like a body rub. So I'm laying there doing my best not to get upset because I know that's a waste of time. Mm-hmm. And money is of the essence. I'm thinking, gosh, this is, $120 massage. That could have bought us X amount of T-shirts. And I thought, I'm going to sit here and meditate on whether or not to go forward with this, because it just kept popping up for me in my subconscious, and for our listeners out there who are like, what the hell is the subconscious and what's meditation? Don't worry about it. What I'm getting at is there's this thing called intuition, and my intuition just kept saying, do it. You got to do it. And after laying there and meditating on it, I said, no, we're going to do it. We're going to do this.
Can we just that meditation, I talk a lot about woo-woo marketing on the show, so you're in good kind of company here. Intuition, like how many of us avoid it? How many of us ignore it? How many of us aren't aware of it? How do you tap into it, Courts?
Well, the first step is awareness, and that's an absolute great question, because this stuff should be taught in primary school. This stuff should be taught in business school, and it's not taught anywhere, and it's not actually an art form. It's science, right? So if we, stop and actually first become aware, and we hear the term mindfulness and all these different things thrown around, and, the power of positive thought and thinking. Well, all of that is true. And it really just starts. And if we had a weekend, I would share a ton of stuff with you all.
Yeah.
But being that we're here for a very short period of time, it all just starts with making a conscious decision to start exploring that realm and understanding that our minds control absolutely everything, and that we are all connected. If I can say one piece of advice to check out would be The Biology of Belief.
Okay, that's a book?
By, yes, Dr. Bruce Lipton. And it will completely, and it's on audiobook because I'm not a big reader. I'll fall asleep. So you can get it on audiobook, and it will completely open your eyes and change the game.
I think, love it. As you say, if we had a weekend, we could go into it, but get awareness around the fact that there is this thing called intuition when we have a feeling of like, that just feels right, or something keeps coming back into your onto your radar. It's like... at what point?
We get so busy, Timbo, with, I've got this appointment, I've got to do this, I've got to feed the kids, I've got to, whatever. The list gets longer and longer, and so we're constantly in this hustle and bustle, and we don't pause and stop and, connect with what these thoughts are and what they mean and analyze them. Nobody takes an inventory, and I've gotten in the habit over the past several years of pausing on a daily basis, and I take my own inventory. Any shopkeeper that has a successful shop, they're going to look at the stock and take inventory. What's good? What's bad? What needs throwing out? And I do that on a daily basis, whether it's my behavior, like where could I have improved? Where did I excel? What do I want to do differently tomorrow? Because often we say, I'll do that tomorrow. New Year's resolution, I'm going to do all this stuff. And we don't ever do that. So that's why, this time around with this business, we've just exploded because... utilizing tools like this.
Do you reckon, Courts, you could confidently say that looking back on when you've acted on your intuition, that put a percentage on how often it's actually worked and been successful for you?
I don't know that if I've never had a situation like this that was so massive.
Yeah, right.
Right? And we had to do something really risky as well, because Nike and Adidas can outspend us $150 million to $1, so we really had to do something to set ourselves apart.
Okay, so let's get back to Holly Holmes. The balding redhead, Dave May, has gone to you. You got to do this. I mean, it sounded like a passing comment. You're on the massage table. You've meditated on it. Intuition says you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. This is November 9. The fight was November 19. This is 10 days, and we're talking about, let's call it 95% of your marketing budget.
Yeah.
Tell me about those 10 days.
Well, it was November 15th actually was the fight.
Okay, so let's...
That day we got back, we made it happen, made the transfer, and the money didn't even hit her manager's account until the day before the fight. So here's the genius side of this, is that Holly was wearing the last post that she did on her Instagram. So the money hit the account on a Friday back in the US. It was Saturday here, the day before the fight. And that's when we got the green light and said, okay, great, we'll go ahead. And because I sent off clothes, overnighted them down to Crown Casino without knowing if the money was going to show up or not. And, he's like, we're not going to do anything until we see payment. I was like, yeah, well, that's understandable. So the last post before the fight was Holly wearing our Fight Like a Girl shirt. And, that's the post that everybody saw. when they went to, because she didn't update her Instagram account for, a good 2-3 days. And I mean, off the back of that, just our social media following exploded, quadrupled. We launched, and we're selling to 20 different countries, and our revenue. I mean, it was just, the timing of everything was just brilliant.
Everything collided because you launched. It was November 19 that you launched, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
so you hadn't even launched. Like, Grrrl brand was still like, Holly's out there. She's posted her in your gear on the November 13th, call it, or around there. No one can buy from you. So you've accumulated what looks to be, you never know whether numbers are good or bad or indifferent, but you got on Instagram, you got 21,000, Facebook 6,000, and growing for very early days.
Right.
So that's amazing. So you get all that down. Tell me, I am interested because we haven't had this kind of endorsement discussion before. Did Dave did he know Holly's manager? How did he make contact with them?
I don't know. Dave's just the man.
Right.
And that's where I truly believe that the universe has a plan. And the big vision of this brand is to empower females so we can rise up the female energy, because the planet is in strife. We're on the brink of a 6 mass extinction. So this brand isn't just about selling clothes. We're not just some other brand that's, here to make a ton of money. And, we're here to celebrate women in sport. We're here to inspire women to be strong. We're here to show women that women come in all shapes and sizes, and that what truth marketing looks like without Photoshop, because we don't use Photoshop in any of our images. And women are ready for that, and they're ready to embrace it. And to know that we strive for equality. But before we can reach that, we first have to stop seeing each other as competition, Tim. Because females, that's how we're brought up. We're not catty, backstabbing, bitchy, whiny, weak, emotional things. That's just what society grooms us to think. And so, along the way, we stop playing sports and we start conforming to all sorts of different societal norms. And, so this brand is really in your face. It's about female empowerment. It's about building a sisterhood, because we need to work together before we can start moving forward. And that's the brand's mission.
Support for this show comes from Key Person of Influence, a business accelerator program that reeks of success. I asked co-founder Glenn Carlson to share some breakthrough results.
Every day, I'm seeing people posting evidence of the transformation from them being an operator to being a key person of influence. So, as a result of them publishing a book, they're getting invited to speak at global conferences that they've only ever dreamed of attending, let alone being a speaker at. Or, an organization decides to buy 3,000 of their new product, which they've just created, that they would never have been able to take 3,000 orders if they were just a single operator. Or their pitch, getting them into, a deal that is 10 times bigger. And like, we see evidence of this every single day. And I look at this every single day to the point where it's become the water I'm swimming in.
KPI, where the results speak for themselves. For a free hard copy of their Amazon bestseller, visit keypersonofinfluence.com/Timbo. I'm going to challenge you on this a little bit. I'm not your target audience, right?
Really?
You haven't seen me, but a crusty old 48-year-old bloke, right? I hear what you just described in the terms of the Grrrl brand, and I love it, and I think it's courageous, and I think it stands out, and I think it ticks a lot of marketing boxes that many business owners wouldn't go near. But it also seems to me aggressive. It also says to me, get out of my fucking way. It also says to me, we are different to you, and we are going to stand apart from you. You being anyone who doesn't conform to what the Grrrl brand is about. Now, I don't say that trying to stir the pot, Courts, at all. It's just what I'm seeing.
Well, it's good. We like a little pot stirring, and but it is an inclusive brand, and that's why
inclusive of who?
All women, right? And I mean, we still have, and that was the thing I wanted to be very clear on at the start, was that this isn't about superiority. And to tell you, this might freak a few of our listeners out, but
you freaked me out when you called me before with your video on, mate. So it's all downhill from there.
Well, you can see, and you'll know why I have this belief. But I believe that this is my first lifetime as a female, and that I'm here to help women embrace that other masculine energy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're inclusive of all women,
Mm-hmm.
And if women want to walk around with their butt hanging out or their boobs hanging out, so be it. Let's not judge her. If a woman wants to walk around and be strong and powerful and make out with another woman, so be it. Whatever women want to do, they're free and able to do. It's about not passing judgment and putting women in a box, but to lift each other up and to support and empower each other. And the aggressive piece really, again, was looking at how we could diversify ourselves and do something that Nike and Adidas couldn't copy. Yeah. And I'll tell you, we were taking a much more bold approach in the beginning until we brought Holly into the mix, because, she's the daughter of a preacher and we don't want to be disrespectful. Mm-hmm. We want to make a loud and clear statement, but at the same time not, disrespect anybody by dropping the F-bomb, because there are, as you've probably seen some of our shirts that, have got some delightful things on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you've got to do something to shake stuff up.
Well, you do. I talk about the market. We live in a world of sameness, and that's where brands like yours do stand out. That's where people like me do call you and say, we got to talk, because I noticed you, and you've put a flag in the ground, and you're not asking me or anyone else to like it. But if you do like it, then come and be a part of it. And it's tribal.
You nailed it, Timbo.
Hey, that's what I do around here, Cords. I nail stuff.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, now you are aging yourself. I remember him. He's about our age, isn't he? I don't know.
54. So
let's get back to Holly. Yeah. Hey, we haven't finished there.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of UFC, by the way.
You are or are not?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It frightens the hell out of me, but it's not about me, right? It's not about me. So tell me, you've got the gear down there. I'm trying to figure out now, okay, you're not going to tell us how much dough you've sunk into it. Can you give us a range by any chance?
I don't even know that I could give you a range.
Okay,
really.
Doesn't matter. This is not a current affair. So you've sunken a whole lot of dough. You've rolled the dice. She was at 18-1 a few weeks out of the fight, so you could have put the dough on that, and maybe you might have made more money. Don't know.
Funny you say that, because that was David's response as well. And I said, look, because Americans, Yanks, whatever you want to call us, we're not that up to speed with the gambling scene. Out here I was shocked. I'm like, what do you mean people are putting bets on what the princess is going to name her baby? That's the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm like, what's a bookie? Seriously, I was blown away. And he did say that, and I said, yeah, well, that could be the case, but that's not how it's going down.
In the fight, Holly's got Instafarmer and she's wearing Reebok. They're the two brands she's got on.
Yeah.
What did you get from what are you getting from your association? She's in your new TVC. I'm going to post that into the show notes because it's an amazing television commercial or YouTube commercial, because it's about 2.5 minutes. You've got the Instagram action. She's on your website. What are you getting from the association with her?
She's appearing at our launch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. When and where and what are you going to do?
Los Angeles, sometime between December 3rd and the 10th. And it's going to be, we're looking at doing a female event where we have some of our athletes there, and we're going to invite some social media, influential people, women rather, and teach them, whatever our sport is. And she'll do a talk, I'll do a talk. We've reached out to Ellen DeGeneres, so I'm working on that. When you have 100, and I'll end on this because I got to go.
Yeah, you got to go.
When you've got 110% belief in something, and I took this from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. That's another great book if you haven't picked that up as a business owner or entrepreneur. But if you have 110% belief coupled with, a burning desire, there's no stopping you. You just don't quit. and things might show up and look different at first. Because David and I registered a different name for this a year and a half ago, put it down and didn't touch it. But, we came back to it. And the name even transformed and things started aligning. So people just give up too easily. And they say, well, this didn't work out, or, this person did this, or they start to look with that victim mentality as opposed to, no, I'm a victor. What can I do to overcome this? Surely this just means there's a different path. And, that's just what we kept doing. And it's turned out, the end result has turned out the way I wanted it to be, but how I thought it was going to be from, a couple of years ago is really a bit different, the outside of it. But on the inside, the mission and the vision is all there. So again, I hope your listeners have got something out of this in terms of, some tools with the books and, possibly having some awareness now around intuition and things like that. And of course, for any females that happen to be listening or any males that want to do some Christmas shopping, it's Grrrl, GRRRL.com.
You go, girl.
You go, girl.
Woo! Hey, hang on, just let me take another breath. And out. Wow. How full on is Kortney? She's on a mission, and I tell you what, there's so much we can learn. So here's the thing. That's called Kortney Olsen. You can check the website out over at Grrrl with a triple R, no I.com, and you can hit her up on Twitter. Tell her you heard her on the show over at Grrrl, GRRL Clothing is her Twitter handle, all right? Don't be scared. She's lovely. I learned 3 things. What did you learn? Thanks to the very good folk at keypersonofinfluence.com/Timbo. Grab your free book over there. Here's my top 3 learnings. Number 1, listen to your intuition. What's it telling you? To do, not to do. We've all got to listen to it a bit more. I know. It's a bit woo-woo. That's okay. Number 2, take on a victor mentality, not a victim. Victim mentality. Hey, I like that. Reckon that's from her fighting days. And number 3, take a calculated marketing risk. Maybe have a think about who you could sponsor that you would never dream of sponsoring. Make the call and ask. I know Kortney didn't tell us how much she threw at Holly, but maybe it wasn't as much as we think. You never know if you don't ask. Now, I'm going to link in the show notes to some of those books that Kort's mentioned, or the 2 books that Kort's mentioned, and you can get them for free, one of them as a free audio book over at audibletrial.com/SBBM. Hey, never stop learning. I'd love to know what you learned from that episode. Head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, go to episode 285 and leave a comment in the show notes, please. Conrad Hilton once said, "Success seems to be connected with action. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they just don't quit." I do love that quote from Conrad. Was that Paris's dad? Paris's old man? I don't know. Should have looked that up. Boy, he'd have his hands full if it was. Anyway, some listener feedback. This one's from Gabby Stewart. manyrivers.org.au is the cause that she works for. It's a lovely feedback. She says, "Hey, Timbo, you're probably flooded by these, but here's another love bomb." What a lovely turn of phrase. I like getting a love bomb, Gabby. "I only started listening to your podcast last week." What date did you send this? 28th. How dare you? I've been going for 6 years, Gab. "But I've already worked my way through a fair bit of your back catalogue." Okay, you're excused. "I just wanted to say thanks for such a great podcast. I love how you break down marketing into practical and approachable steps for business owners." Well, thank you for recognising that, because that is my aim, Gab. I like to shine a very bright light onto this very dark art they call marketing. I've recommended every small business owner I've ever spoken to listen to your show. Oh, that's ace, Gabby. I hope you've spoken to like millions. I work for a not-for-profit who provide practical business supporting struggling Australians. Now you're talking. I spend a lot of time driving every day to meet clients and talk about their businesses and how to make it perform better. Your podcast is a match made in heaven. Why'd I do that? I'm always so energised after listening to your podcasts, and your guest speakers are interesting and insightful. Insightful. I'm exciteful. Yeah, they sure are. Amazing people out there, Gab. Really, every episode I am constantly blown away by who I get to talk to and what they share. Kortney was no exception. Back to Gab. I practically jump out of the car when I meet with a client to talk about marketing as a key component to ongoing business. Thanks a million, Timbo. Gabby. P.S. Daily podcasts would be GOLD. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. Not anytime soon. 2 a week's enough, I think, for you and me. Hey, thanks, Gabby. And, hey, listeners, go and check out manyrivers.org.au. They sound like they're doing good things. Now that is what I call a big show. You exhausted? I am exhausted after that one. I think I'm just going to go for a drive down the beach and get a bit of sand between the toes. But there is plenty of marketing gold coming your way. Next episode, we have a fireside chat with Kate Johansson of breakfast and salad topper brand Koja. She's also appeared on Shark Tank and has some wonderful insights from that appearance. She'll be my third Shark Tank victim, I think. Hey, be sure to grab your free hard copy of the Key Person of Influence Amazon bestseller. They'll post it to you over at keypersonofinfluence.com/Timbo. Don't read it in bed. You won't sleep. Trust me. Hey, and also grab a free audiobook of your choice over at audibletrial.com/SBBM. This show's sound is amazing because of Daryl Misson. He's a genius when it comes to audio. Thanks, Daz. My music bed, well, that's written, played and sung by rock star Lockie Doley. Thanks, Lock. If you want your marketing questions answered immediately, then join our forum over at crankmymarketing.com. And if you need a speaker for an upcoming event, head over to timreid, reid.com.au. Until next week, I am Timbo Reid. May your marketing be the absolute best marketing. Bye for now.